So let's have a look at this user stories. Have you gone through this user story, all of you, like in the last session, or did we not cover it? Yes, no.
You had shown this slide and told us to read it whenever we're free.
Nice, nice. Okay. So I guess this was covered. So let's move on to our Miro board. And before we move on to customer journey mapping, let's all come to Miro board and then create a user scenario for user stories. So for that, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking the bio then that I have, and I'll be amplifying that bio. So the idea of creating user scenario is based on to find out what are the activities that this lady is doing in her daily life that is creating some problem for her, right? So that we are going to understand. That is regarding the nutrition, that is regarding the cooking, that is regarding the food availability that she is going through, and different things, right? So so we'll be making a user story that will be around that. So the user stories can be like user story can be like that Malti Devi starts her day with just daily course in her home, and then she decides to cook. Then she finds out that and then she finds out that there are less ingredients, and the ingredients which she wanted to cook is not there, and she wanted to create some, and she wanted to uh, cook some healthy food. For that, she does not have nutrient like ingredients. Then decides to go to market for buying that. So when so whatever money she has, so she goes to market with that, and she finds out that whatever ingredient she needs, that is very costly, and even after like searching different shops for that same ingredients, which might be cheaper, she does not find. So she instead of settles out with different ingredients and then comes back, right? So this can be a particular activity of Maldi Devi from going from home, from starting and going to market and then coming back and then finding out what is the complete process, right? So this is something that we can make in a form of story, right? So let's make it this thing in a form of story, or if you have any additions to it, you can tell me. Like anything that you think that can also be there, that can the perspective of that one can also be added. Yes. Yes, guys.
Yes, sir.
You are all able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. Just have to go for market for buying it. And when she reaches, she finds out where whose ingredients is as much and so things can spend a little extra on it if possible, and then also she does not get what she wants.
Hey, hi Adit, Tarun here. I just joined. What they're discussing?
Yeah, so we are creating a user story based on persona that is created.
Okay,
Yeah. So just creating a user story so that we could understand the day in a life of Malti Devi more better, and then this user story will be used in doing the customer journey mapping, right? So that is the context.
okay. Thank you.
No worries. So this is what user story that I have created. Just have a look. Just have a look. Have a read on this user story, and then we'll be proceeding further. So next step is to create the customer journey maps.
The user story, like why we create and what is the significance?
Yeah. So user story. So we have like, see, we have started with interviews, and we did affinity mapping, and we did persona.
Okay,
So
right.
all the insights that we got was a collective insights, was not in a form of a sequence of things, right? So when we do user story based on persona, so we think that there is a user who is going through these problems, these activities, these set of problems, and we make it a form of story so that we could understand the complete step or complete process in a much nicer way.
But
And
in persona, we have given all this, right? All the problem.
yeah, yeah. See,
So
all the problems and the things that is going on, that is already there in the persona, but it is not in a sequential manner. So
okay,
to understand why, like when that happens, and like these points, when does that fall into that same scene, and
so
what is the
basically
sequence
we are
of step?
making a story of the persona.
Yes, yes. So to understand when does that happen and why does that happen, so we make a story so that we could understand what we can do and what can be improved in that whole experience.
Okay, got you. So
Yeah.
usually, how many stories are there?
Yes, yes. User stories are always there. So sometimes what So generally user stories are considered like based on the scenarios like we do affinity mapping, we do persona, and we create a user scenarios, different case scenarios. Key this is the problem that user might be facing. This is the problem that user might be facing. So based on like suppose you are creating an app and you are deciding a feature to be made. So for that you will be creating a case scenario or case like a user story which complements that feature, like which complements the usage of that feature. Okay, why that feature should be there,
Hmm. Okay. So,
right?
yeah. So, from
Hmm.
affinity, we can have multiple persona, and
Yes.
let's say from affinity we had three or four persona, and
Hmm.
same number of stories also we can have.
Yes, yes, definitely, exactly. So the more data will be there in affinity mapping, the more precise persona you will be able to make, and precise user scenarios you will be able to find in that.
Okay. This is
Right?
also being used when we want to have whether as a product manager when someone want to decide whether we should go for this particular feature or not.
Yes, yes. So you always validate your feature with the help of user stories. So as to find that whether the feature that you are imagining, feature that you are ideating, does that match with the requirement that is mentioned in the user scenario or not?
Okay.
If it matches, then you can go ahead and do the rest of the things.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So now that we have made the user stories, now we come to the customer journey maps. So we have not, we did not discuss about customer journey maps in the last class, right?
Right. We have not
No.
discussed.
Yeah. So let's discuss a little about customer journey maps, and then we'll come into customer journey maps. So a customer journey map is a diagram which depicts different processes, which different which is used to analyze different processes that happen in user stories. So what we do in customer journey mapping, we break down the user stories into different phases, and then we analyze all those different phases step by step to find out what is the sequence of events that is happening, what the user is feeling, and what the user is doing, what the user is thinking, what the user is feeling, and what the user is doing. What is the emotional state of the user? What are the touch points of the user, like what are the things that user is interacting with, and what are the opportunity areas that we can think of, like what are the intervention areas that we can think of in order to create a new feature or a new functionality in the product that we are creating. So customer journey maps is also a kind of research tool. So just So customer journey maps is kind of a research analysis tool which we take into consideration when we have to understand the very detailed process of the user. Like let's say you are understanding the buying pattern of users uh, on e-commerce platforms, then you might select a user story that is based on the adding that might be based on adding some product into cart and then finally checking out and finally placing the order. So you can understand at what place the user is feeling engaged more and what place user is feeling the less engaged. What are the problems in what particular state the user is feeling like experiencing any problem, and what you can do to improve that particular what you can do to particularly improve that phase to increase the overall usability of the product. So customer journey maps helps in a very nice way. So the initial point of doing customer journey mapping is first to create the user stories and then analyzing it by breaking it down. And since we do customer journey mapping, so customer journey mapping always also works as a live document which companies can refer to every time. Like suppose okay, someone is analyzing that what is making customers drop from their product. So they can always go to customer journey maps. If the customer journey map has been done very well, so they can always go to that process and find What are the reasons why customer is dropping off the app? What are the things that we ideated on? Does it require any change, or do we require any more ideation on that? So based on that, you can ideate and you can form different functionalities or form different ideate on different types of solutions. It is all about learning about target users in more in a terms of how they act, how they do specific activities from the product. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are different elements of the customer journey mapping which is there. So first is time scale. It depends ki what time scale are you referring to. Like here we are taking day in a life activity of Malti Devi, like which starts from morning, and she going to market and then coming back and start cooking. That is time scale. So the time scale would be defined, would be divided into different steps, like she getting up and going to the, like, doing daily course and going to the kitchen. Then going to the market can be one step. Then third step when we finding the ingredients and, like, deciding what to go for. And finally it can be buying the ingredients and then coming back to home and start cooking. So this is the time scale that you will be dividing, like what happens first, what happens next, what happens next, and what happens after that, right? So time scale can be based on different values. Like if you are making a more detailed customer journey mapping, so it might range up to 1 week as well. So like you are studying the complete process. Like let's say you might come up with something, or you might come up with some problem statement that in that process happens in a longer time. It does not happen in one day. So you might need to study for you might need to study it for 1 week, right? And when you study for 1 week, then only you'll be able to like get out insights from it, right? So that is a time scale. Now second is scenario that we have already discussed about. Scenarios, what is happening with the user and what we can do for the user, right? Touch points are the things that the user interacts with. So it can be related to any non. So touch points are generally non-living objects, like, and the things that a user interacts with, like mobile phone can be there, laptops, headphones. These are the product touch points which are there. Apart from that, touch points can also be spaces. Spaces as in, like, spaces as in, it can be literal thing like internet. Internet can also be a touch point. Websites can also be a touch point. And like very, like, physical spaces can also be touch points, like kitchen space or room space, or maybe table, chair, or anything. To understand how the user is, it is all done to understand how the user is interacting with the environment. What are the things in the environment he is interacting with, and how the user is interacting with the environment. So this all fall under the touch points, right? Then coming on to what are the thoughts and feelings and actions of the user. Like in that particular phase, what the user is thinking, what the user is feeling, and what are the action that is leading to leading user to do something specific, right? So these are the five elements of the
Yeah.
user experience maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adit, actually, I'm not able to relate customer till persona. I'm okay, and user story also. I understand. When it comes to the customer journey, uh,
Mm-hmm.
like what we have to do, what will be the output, and whatever you're saying, like thought, feeling. These are what we should consider this by customer journey, or these are the input.
Yeah. So you are clear about till the user scenarios, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now what is happening? What are the detailed thing that is happening in user scenarios that we are going to find with the help of customer journey maps? So the outcome of the customer journey mapping would be the opportunity areas that look into to form different functionalities of the app. Like suppose the user is experiencing, like user is feeling something, user is doing something based on certain things. So what are the opportunity areas that you are finding that I can create some solution which can help user in simplifying this experience.
So this
You will
already we
be
have captured, right? This we have
huh?
already captured in this already we have captured in our user story.
We have we are just like in user stories we are not talking about the opportunity areas right now, right? So you're just capturing what is happening, how it is happening, and when it is happening. These things you have captured.
So you are saying from user story, these are things which we need to drive.
We are just tracing what is happening with the user. Now you will think like when you divide it into simpler parts and you start analyzing it, you will be getting a more detailed insights of what can be done in that particular step,
Okay.
right? And how you can intervene, like how you can imagine, how you can create a new functionality or new solution to cater that request.
Okay.
Yeah, did I
Yes.
like answer your query?
Yes. Yes, Aditya.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So this is a sample customization mapping that you are doing, that you're seeing. Just have a look at it, and then we will be discussing a little about it, and then we will be moving on to creating the customization maps. All the elements that we have just discussed, you will be able to find it here, like the time scales, touch points, touch point, thoughts and feelings. Opportunity area is not there. That is like it is a little incomplete customization map. One or two more things needs to be added, like what is the emotional mapping of the customer and the opportunity areas. Apart from that, everything is there.
Okay. Can you please make it in slide view?
Okay, you want this to be a bigger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone done with this? Done with reading this? See, what is happening here? See, you are able to see the time scale: morning, work day, evening, night. That is the time scale that is there.
Yes.
Right. What the customer is doing? Like what is the customer is doing? Like if you combine the text written in the doing part altogether, you will find that it is actually a user scenario, like just broken down into different pieces, like six different pieces. Calling doctor office to make an appointment, checks phone to see if there is any missed calls, gets phone call from mother while a meeting, stops while the pharmacy. On his way to his mother, visits his mom to talk and warm up a frozen dinner he prepared over the weekend, and calls his mother to say good night before going to bed. Right. So this is actually the user scenarios broken down into simpler pieces. Now,
This talk about which persona? I mean,
like this is a sample. Like this is not related to the persona that you are making. This is a sample user experience map that I'm showing you.
a
We'll be
sample
making for that.
user type.
We'll be making for that. We'll be making for that.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the user thinking and what is the user feeling in that particular stage, right? So this is these all things will be there while you will creating the user customer journey map, right? So the goals we have already discussed about the goals of customer journey maps in the starting. Like goals is definitely to gain understanding of how the customer experience develops over the period of time, over the process that user does, how the experience develops. And we are able to find out what the customer is expecting and what the customer is expecting from identifying what are the thoughts and feelings that is mentioned and what we can do for it, right? And it helps us in identifying what like it helps us in identifying what is the mental model of the user. Now mental model is something that needs to be understood at this point of time. Customer journey map to understand how the user actually behaves and how the user actually performs certain tasks. So, so when we talk about mental models, so every person has its own mental models, have a set of mental models, and what these mental models are, these mental models are the way that people do certain things, the way people do certain tasks in a way. Like you are human, like you have been grown up in a certain way, so you do things in a certain way, right? Yes or no? Like
Correct.
the way that I will be doing some task can be entirely different for you, yet the end result is same, but the way that I'm doing that and the way that you are doing it can be entirely different. And that is because of the mental model, because I have been taught like that from the childhood that this can be done like this. Maybe I have been taught differently in my childhood that this can be done like this as well. So those mental models are there, and when you map this customer journey maps, these mental models also come into place. You will be able to identify that how the user is thinking and what is making the users do things in a certain way due to that, right? That is the goal of customer journey map that we are trying to understand. And now coming to how what are the steps to do customer journey mapping? First is we'll take the scenario and we'll break it down into simpler subtasks and subprocesses so that we could analyze it better. That is the first step that we are going to do. Next step will be finding will be putting up insights what are there, like what the user is thinking, what the user is feeling, and what the user is doing in that particular phase. In each of the phases, let's say we have divided to 5 phases or 4 phases, we'll be doing that, right? Third step would be focusing on emotions, like what is the emotional state of the user, like is he feeling happy, angry, sad, confused, uh, like little happy, little sad. What are the emotional states of the user? And I'll be telling you why we are mapping this emotional state of the user. So we'll be mapping the emotional state of the user, and that in that particular phase, what the user is, what is the emotional state of the user? Is the user happy or sad, and what he or she is feeling? In fourth phase, you will be putting up touch points, or like what are the different elements, what are the different things that user is interacting with. You'll be noting it down for that, for each different phases. That will be called as touch points. And finally, you will be finding out what are the opportunities, what are the different things that you can find, or what are the different things you can ideate as a solutions to in that particular phase. Like something can be like creating some solution in a way that user is able to find out the cheap things or find out nutritious things, some structure regarding that. And then when we find these things, then we will put these opportunity areas into brainstorming, and we'll amplify it and find what are the possibilities in those opportunity areas. Got it? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now we come to customer journey maps. So let us all come to Miro board, and then we'll start the customer journey maps. Are we all here on the Miro board? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So first thing is time scale that we are looking at. Second step is scenarios that we are scenarios we are looking at, or processes. And we are looking at insights, which is thoughts, feeling, and activities. Right? Thought, feeling, and activities. Then touch points, emotional state, and then coming on to opportunity areas. These are the different things that we are going to make for our customer journeys, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm just copying pasting it. So I'll divide this scenario into 4 different phases. Right? Emotional state. For emotional state, I will be taking some smileys. So for emotional state, so whenever you talk about emotional states, so there are 2 emotional states which are associated. So one is emotional high and emotional low. And so what you do here is, so let's do one thing. Let's first divide this scenario into four different phases. So what can be four different phases? Like Malti wakes up in the morning and goes for kitchen. This can be first. This can be second. This can be third. And then this can be fourth. Time scale can be morning. See, all the things are happening mostly in the morning. So how will you define the time scale here is, you can define what like from home, like at home, like morning at home, then home to market, and then back from market to home. Time scale can be 2 hours, let's say 2 or 2.5 hours, 2 hours, or maybe 1 hour only. Right? So this is how we have divided the time scale, and we have divided the scenario into different phases, right? Any doubt here?
No, sir.
So now is the time that we are going to, like, now is the time we are going to start with different things. So here you will write what are the insights, what are the insights, what are the touch points, what is the emotional state, and what is the opportunity areas in this particular phase. First phase, second phase, third phase, and fourth phase. Right? You can just, for your convenience, you can divide, you can make it, you can change it to different things. So what do you think? Like, what are the thoughts and feelings she might be having when she's starting the day, and like when she's starting the day and she's thinking of preparing something for the family. Yes.
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. So now that we have divided into subtask or sub process, so now I'm asking what can be what can be the insights from this particular phase, like this, what she might be thinking, what she might be doing in this phase, what she might be feeling in this phase.
So she might be thinking of what to cook for the rest of the family.
Hmm.
Any vegetables, specific vegetables, or any
Hmm.
variety of chapati or whatever.
Hmm.
And she must be planning about the rest of the day, for the rest of the day,
Hmm.
what she will
Planning
be doing after that.
about the day. Yes. What else you
And,
said?
and second thing I said that she must be thinking about what to cook for the family for that particular day, which
Cook.
will be nutritious and beneficial for all.
Yes. What she might be feeling? Like this is the thinking part. What she might be feeling here might be she's feeling.
It's very busy. I mean,
Hmm. Yes, daily course. What else? Anything? What she might like? We have thought on what she might be thinking. What she might
Then
feel.
one more thing she might be thinking of is like if there is something to buy from the market for
Ah.
household purpose, then she must be thinking that when to go to the market and accordingly buy that particular thing at a
Hmm.
cheaper cost.
Hmm.
that comes under planning, right?
Yeah. So this point might come under the second point, no? Like when she find no related ingredients, then she thought thinks of going to market. Then she will think about like what should I buy, what should I not buy.
Okay, sir.
No? Now
Okay, sir.
activity
Yeah.
now comes to activities like what activities she might be doing. She is busy with daily course. What else what else she might be doing?
Busy in cooking.
Hmm. She has not started cooking yet. Like she has just she has just gone for cooking,
Right.
but not started yet. No, she might be cleaning and
In morning, mostly in villages, like people go out to the well to fill water or something for the whole day.
so it all fell under the daily course, no? Like going out and fetching water, cleaning around,
Right.
all those things, right? That's why I like written it like together. What she might, what else she might be doing is she might be just
Pre- She must
yes.
be preparing for the food. I mean, she not started food, but all the
Hmm.
preparation she must have
Yeah.
been made, like getting
Hmm. Yeah.
vegetables or articles and cutting them, cleaning them.
So what can be the touch points here? Like that is sufficient data. Like what is the touch? What can be the touch point here?
Can you say some example like here in touch point means?
Touch points like I told you, no, like it can be physical space, it can be physical object, or like non-living object. It can be, or it can be just space. Like here, it can be kitchen space, right?
Kitchen space, yes.
Kitchen space. It can be right. Anything else that you think that can be there?
Utensils.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, utensils.
Utensils.
What else?
Sir, under kitchen space, are we considering everything? Means the food items and all that.
That's right. That's right. Kitchen space, utensils, and yeah, this much thing, right? So after you have created attachment, so what do you think? Like, what should be the emotional state of the user, right?
Energetic and a bit tensed also because she's planning to end her day on a good note, means completing all her tasks related to family or related to market and everything.
Mm. So it can be somewhere here, right? It denotes the happy point, and the lowest denotes the sad point. So
Yes, sir.
you can decide whatever, like whatever position it should be. So
Hmm.
that is why you are using a smiley,
It's a
right?
high. Yeah.
So it should be somewhere like she is a little like she is little busy, but not very excited, like totally excited. So might be I will not place it towards the top. I'll just keep it towards neutral and the emotional high phase, right? Somewhere here. Now, what do you think? Like, what you can do for the user at this point of time?
First of all, we can make sure that whether they have some smart devices in their family or not. And if they have that, then we can uh, teach them to means order. If suppose they have some work related to the market, then they can order some things online, and that can come to their house, and they can pay for that instantly.
Mm.
Yes.
That can happen. That will save them some time.
Smartphones, right? Smartphone device
Yes, sir.
availability. Okay. What else can we do for the user?
We can also have automated ready-made food ready also. Yes, it will take less time, half cook,
Mm.
can cook fast, you can save time.
Mm. Like
And we can also
quick cook
show
food.
them that how they can make a reminder list in their smart devices so that they can keep a track
Mm.
of the things which they are going to do on that particular day so that they should never miss a certain thing or certain task.
Mm. Yes. Anything else that you think of?
Then we can also uh, uh, help them plan that whether what are the tasks related to their family which can be shared by the family members
Mm.
so that it will put less stress on the main person or the mother who is working majorly in the house.
Mm. Okay. Nice, nice. So these are the things that we have found out in the opportunity areas for this particular phase. Now coming on to second phase. So in second phase, what do you think? What can be the insights here? Like now she does not find any related items, so she decide to go to market, and then she decide to find out, okay, yes, this will be the thing that I'll be buying. What can we
One more
do?
thing which we can consider is that suppose she is done with cooking and all the stuff related to the family, then she can also do one thing like read the newspaper or magazines that can keep her up to date with the outer world news or facts which are happening in the world right now.
Hmm.
Because in the free time, sometimes they are used to reading such things.
Hmm. So that will be like totally different from like what we have thought of user stories. No, like we can
Yeah, but
include those. Like if you want, you can include that in a point. But like if you want to include that those things, then you have to include in the initial point. Like whenever you are dating the story, then only you should include that.
Okay, sir. So, suppose here if we are considering market situation, then she can plan out that what will be the total amount she will be taking with her and what will be her expenditure for different things. Suppose she wants to buy some vegetables or some fruits, so she will have to allot suppose 100 rupees for the vegetables and 200 rupees for the fruits and all that.
Yes, thinking of the expenditure on ingredients. What else? What else she might be thinking? She might be feeling.
And
She might be
secondly, she
thinking.
might be thinking then which will be the closest market to her house so that she can go there or reach there quickly and come back after doing her work or buying stuffs, whatever she wanted to buy.
Yes. Anything else?
she will also have a list in her mind, what to buy, from where to buy, how much to buy.
What? Where?
List of the item you can write.
How much to buy things? Okay. And what should be the activities? Like we have thought on feelings and thoughts. What should be the activities that she might be doing in this phase? Okay. The stored storage door, storage and for ingredients and then
This means checking for the storage and also trying to find out the money, which how much money I need to carry.
arranging money, right? Let's see. So now that you have iterated on these points, so what do you think? What can be the touch points here?
Storeroom,
Yeah, storeroom.
Shop, market shop, or departmental store, whatever we consider.
Not. She has not reached the department store. Department store.
Okay.
storeroom, purse, gullak, what?
Purse maybe.
And a carry bag.
Purse and carry bag. Anything else? Okay. So what should be the emotional state here?
If we consider COVID, then yes, sanitizer, mask.
Sanitizer mask. Sanitizers and mask. Okay. What should be the emotional state here? Just have a look at the scenario and like this one's phases scenario, and then tell me what can be the emotional state here.
So emotional state will be a bit lower than the previous one, because as the day is progressing, she's a bit low on energy and enthusiasm.
Adit, I have a question on this emotional state. When you say emotional high and emotional low, what does that mean? Emotional high means very happy, or and emotional low is sad or something like that?
Yes. Emotional high means emotional like more towards happy, and emotional low means to more towards sad.
So it will be in middle. I mean,
Like somewhere this, right? So this line which I have made, that represents the neutral feeling.
yes.
So anything above this, it will be between neutral and emotional high. Anything below this will be neutral and emotionally low.
Right.
Right? So that will be there. So let's consider that she is not feeling like neutral, but around neutral, right? Now, coming on to opportunity areas, what can be the opportunity areas here? Yes?
So can you once again repeat what we are going to do in this particular column?
What?
So can you please repeat that what we will have to consider for this particular column?
So like what based on the insights and activities that she is doing, the thinking she's having. So what do you think that what can be the possible opportunity that you can do for the customer here? like what are the things that you can do like as a solution to the customer?
So we can help them to become cashless, so they will not have to take their purse or cash everywhere. They can simply use their smart device for the payment. And,
Mm. Because cashless transactions can be something. Yes.
we
If
can
she
give them.
gets to know, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that if she gets to know all the prices of the vegetables or the grains beforehand, then she will
Mm.
accordingly able to plan the
Mm.
amount that she has to carry.
Knowing the rates of things beforehand.
Thirdly, we can give direct her or give her the address of some stores where she can go without any carry bag, and they will provide it for free, or they can provide her the home delivery system.
And shops providing delivery. Okay.
Yes, sir. And yes, we can also help her on one more thing. Suppose she is planning to actually go to the market, then we can provide her with the shortest path, means so that she can reach earlier and do her work quickly.
Right. So this is how we have done this thing. Like this, like this is the process how we go from with every each and every activity. So whenever you are doing a customer journey map, so it is advised that you should not go, you should not divide the story less than four, because you will not be able to identify it closely. So it should be anywhere between four to eight. For
So
eight,
I
yes,
want to add one more thing for the last
yeah, yeah.
block we were doing. In that, we can add one more thing, that we will provide her with information with the means public transport services. So that will be cheaper for her for the transport thing.
Adit, can you please repeat the last point you said? We should not. We should split the story in four or more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying, so whenever you are doing customer journey maps, so you need to divide stories into different smaller subtasks. So whenever we are doing that, try not to do like divide it less than four. Like it should not be two, three, or something.
Per story.
It should be always like four or more than four, and less than 10. If
It's per story.
like less than 10. If you are
Okay.
like if you are tracking very long user experience map, then also like even for a week also, if you are doing, make it less than 10 only, because the idea for the customer journey map is to you is to that you should be able to scan it, like what is the requirement that I am having for the customer. You can always look back. If you are making it so long, then it would lose its purpose, right? So it should be quickly accessible, and you should be quickly go through the customizing map, validate the mental model, and come back and then start like designing the app again, or make changes to the app. That is how it should be. Otherwise, like planning, like making it very long or very short would not yield that much nice. Like if you are making it too long, no, so you will feel that at some point the insights are getting repeated. So that you should not do, because you will then if you try to make more and more, then you will try to find out like very precise things. Either you should find very precise things which are very unique, or otherwise you keep it short to like 10, or let's say 8. 8 is more than good. It is sufficient. Like 4 to 8 is sufficient. You can go maximum up to 10 phases, dividing your user story into 10 phases, not more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I tell you to like complete this, complete the rest of the customer journey map, will you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So before we can go into the break, so let's start with the brainstorming. So let's start with the brainstorming and understand what brainstorming actually means. So first we talk about mental models. Like first let's talk about mental models and then we'll come to
That is
brainstorming.
one question. Just now, customer journey which we have did. This is
Uh-huh.
complete. This is complete, right?
Yeah, like two phases more are to be done. Otherwise, like this, like if you complete these two, then it will be complete.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Like you have to do the same thing for the rest of the
Correct.
phases. Then
Okay.
it will be complete.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Now, earlier slide you said emotional was missing. So here we have covered that, right?
Emotional, like this
In
is
the
the
slide,
emotional thing.
in the slide you said um, when you are showing slides, not mirror.
Wait, where this?
No, go back. Go back further. Go back. Go back. Yes. Here you said right. Emotion was missing.
Here it was missing. This is a partial thing. There's a partial thing. Here the emotional state and the opportunity areas touch point, like are not mentioned here.
Okay.
So that's why like
Now we journey.
I have already told you that this is not complete customer journey mapping. The one that we did, that is a complete. Like
Okay.
that should be the elements which should be there. Like
Okay.
and according to those elements, you like according to these five phases, these five elements, you should be doing your customer journey.
Okay. Got you.
Like in that, it was only till this point,
Okay.
right? No,
Yes.
it was and like it was till this point.
Till touch point. Yes.
These two things were missing.
Yes.
Now coming on to mental models, like what does mental model means and how it is beneficial in the UX design, UX design that we do for the application design or the UX design that we do. So mental models are actually our prior knowledge and experiences that we gain as a human individual from our past experiences or from our childhood. There are specific ways that we do certain things, a specific way we behave, a specific way we interact with people and the different objects around us or environments. So all this contributes to the mental model. So let's say I say that. Let's take an example of a water tap. So how do you open a water tap? Yes, can you tell me how do you open a water tap?
So we simply turn it
Yeah,
anti-clockwise.
yeah, you simply turn it maybe anti-clockwise or clockwise because you know from the beginning that it is like that. You have to turn it and it will be open.
Yeah. A top or bottom.
Yeah.
Anything.
Now, like you must have used taps which are now like sensor based taps.
Yes.
Right now we have learned to like how to use it, but remember the time when it was like very new thing. There was no turning thing, right? So you have to figure out what like how do I open the tap? How will the water will come? Then someone told you that "Arey, you need not to tap, like you need not to turn it. You just put your hands under the tap and water will start coming, right? Yes or no?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is because of mental model, because we know from the very beginning that whenever we have to open a tab we have to turn it, like whatever good tab or bad tab it is, we have to turn it and then we have to like switch it on. Now we have been introduced to smart tabs where we have to just put our hands and water will start coming.
right? So that is a change of mental models that like, so the knowledge that we had from prior experience was key. A tap will be opened from turning only. Now they have introduced a new thing, like we should put our hands inside the tap and then water will start coming. So that was a change of mental model because that was not used to. Still there you will find people who will not be able to switch the tap on because they know that mental model their mental model has been like that only. You need to turn the tap to in order to start the water running, right? So similar things, like similar kind of many things are there, which are around your environment, which is around you, in with which you behave in a certain way, you behave in a specific manner, and you do not do in different way, right? So like that is called as mental model, like why you behave in a certain way, why you interact in a certain way, right? And that is how, like, and whenever we consider mental models in UX design, so we consider like we why we use mental models in UX design to make sure we are designing something which is already familiar to the user. We are not inventing something very new that user should not be able to understand. Got the point? Like why we are using the mental model in UX design. If you are making something, if you are making the process, if you are making the flow in a way that is very familiar to the user, then it will become a usable design. Otherwise, it will, if it is very innovative and very like out of the box thing, which is not aligned to the mental model of people, it would eventually lose its usability because the users do not know how to interact with it, how to use it. You have to tell people how to do that. Right?
Right.
So there are two important contexts in order and like two important elements in context to mental models. Like a mental model is based on belief, not facts. Like it works in a way that how you feel, how you think that what is right, it works like that. And it is not based on fact, like it should be done in this way. Like you will like maybe like let's say there are two families and they both are performing same task, the end result is same but they are doing it in different way. For one family the right way is different, for the other family the right way is different, but the end task is similar, so there is no conflict, right? So that's where we say that yes, this is not based on fact, this is not scientific, but this is more kind of experiential thing that happens to people, what they gain from experience, what they learn from their experience, right? So so whenever we use this mental model in UX design, so we try to make things in a certain way that that accommodates users normal behavior, normal interaction behavior, so that the usability of the product can be increased, right? Now, individual users have like their own mental model, like just how I explained that with the help of that family thing. Individual users have their individual mental model. They based on they act and they act based on that, right? So now when we say that the mental models are more experiential and not factual, and each user have their own mental models. So how we can actually act on mental models, like how we can inculcate mental models, yet yet there are different mental models, but there are certain things that people do in a certain way, right? Like take an example of an e-commerce application. Take an example of an e-commerce application. Now everyone knows how to add and how to add a product to cart, how to add the address and how to check out, right? So now, like let's say if 10 million people are doing the same thing, so that is a universal mental model that has been created. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when you are create now, Now, if that universal mental model already exists, and now you have to create the product in same domain, then you need to that it is absolutely mandatory for you to consider that universal mental model. Otherwise, if you deviate from that mental model, your product might not work because that is already validated with 10 million people that they are using the same pattern to interact with product. And if you're using something different from that interaction pattern, then more chances are likely more chances are there that your product might fail, right? So just summarizing it up with a small example, like you find what is the location of card button that you find on any e-commerce website? What is the location of card?
In the top right hand side corner.
Yeah, on the top right hand side of the corner, you find that button, right? So when you find that on the top right hand side, so let's suppose that suppose that I created a new project, and I removed that icon from that and placed towards the bottom of the screen. So what will you do in that phase? Will you be searching for that icon, or you will be able to find that easily? Yes.
Sir, can you please repeat the scenario?
We will search.
Yeah, like there is a card button on e-commerce application, right? So generally it is towards the top right of the corner in the some bar, right? So that is the generic pattern that is followed. Now suppose that you have created a new product or new e-commerce platform, and you have replaced, like you have removed the card button from that, and you have placed it somewhere on the bottom of the screen. So now what? So now will you be searching for that icon or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because your mental model says that the card button should be there only, and you will be eventually able to find out where the card button is. But yes, the time taken will be maximum. Like the time taken will be more. Earlier it was like 0 seconds or maybe point some seconds. Like you just got your eyes into that and you just clicked it. Now what you will do, you will at least like spend 4 5 seconds, maybe 2 3 seconds to find out where the card button is, right? So that is a shift from mental model that has been done, and that will affect the overall usability of the product, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
Right.
so that's why we use mental models in UX design. So so how do we act on mental models? Like we should make the system according to the mental model of people, and if if we are introducing something new, so we should always enable mental model learning in the UX design. Mental model learning in the UX design, as in, like, let's say you have created a new design, you have created a new in like feature, that's totally okay. But you should make the user learn about it. Okay, yes, this is the thing that we have done new, and this is where new thing is there. So let's say uh, there is one example, like to improve the user mental model, there is an example. So uh, do you remember any application when you install, they show some guides? Okay, you can click this, you can click this to make this, you can click to make this. Have you seen some
Yeah,
app like this?
yeah. Actually, I have got experience like this recently. This India Finance website got updated,
uh,
uh, Updex site.
uh,
So they have transitioned from old to new, and that
uh,
transition was like they give all input. They first led it to the
yes,
old page and then tell you that it's
exactly.
going to then all the information they provide.
Yeah, yeah. So now you see that is Finance India website. That was old website. So people were used to that old website. They have developed a mental model over time. Now they have completely revamped it. Now they need to tell people that where their options have gone. where like if there were some features on that website, anything, now where they are placed. So they will provide guides to that. Like earlier it was like this is the new create post button, this is the new this button that you can use. So once you see that, then it becomes obvious that yes, now you will not feel like problematic. Like it will not be problematic for you to understand what is going on, right?
Yes.
So that happens like that. This is called as learning or improving the mental model of users.
Yeah. I have one question. This mental model is, I think, follow that learning curve thing, right?
Yeah, learning like that is that works in two ways. Like it can be for learning purpose as well. It can be designing products according to the users as well.
Okay. But what about the product which are not analogous or similar to the new product which are being developed? How mental model that can be done for such product?
So
Like,
those mental models are based on the UI elements that people generally use. Like cards can be there, navigation patterns can be there.
okay,
So there are similar kind of navigation patterns which people are familiar. They know that the navigation would be like now that they're using the app. So people know that navigation can be on the bottom side of the screen, right?
okay. Hmm.
So those elements and those elements work in towards the mental model thing. Like if you are not like, talking about the universal thing, but small things also contribute to the mental model, like how the elements look like. Like
Okay,
if I replace the button with just a text, so people will might not be able to identify that it is a button. So I need to make sure that I at least provide some boundary around the text so that people understand that yes, this is some kind of a clickable thing, or that I can tap on this,
correct.
right? So that is how it is accomplished. Now, now this marks until now this is the end of the research phase that you were doing. Like we have done two phases of design thinking, that is empathizing and and defining. Now we come to the ideating phase, which start with the brainstorming, and then we'll be moving on to the prototyping. So in ideation phase, we'll be looking at brainstorming first, then card sorting, then user task flow, and then information architecture. Right? These are the four things that we will be covering in ideation phase. And then when we move to prototyping today, then we'll be learning about some UX laws and different types of prototyping methods and different kinds of wireframing methods and the wireframing guidelines. Then we'll be starting. So now coming out of brainstorming. So brainstorming when it is used. So now you have got now you have did all the research that was there, right? You have did all the research that was there, and like finally what you have came up with. Like what is the outcome of the research that you have arrived in? Yes, anyone? What was the outcome that we have got from the research till now?
We got the solution for the problem. Now we should start how to
We
deploy.
have got the opportunity areas. We have still like we will be thinking about the exact solutions in this phase. We have got the opportunity areas. Ki what are the opportunities that we can turn into solutions? Right? It can be the same. It can have the same things which we have done, like which we have ideated in opportunity areas in customer journey maps, and some additional things also that you can still ideate on, right? So how to do brainstorming? Like this is the place where we'll be finalizing what the functionalities you would be having in the application and how you will be presenting it in the user flows and the information architecture.
Can we say we got a goal? Now we need to decide on how to achieve that.
Yes, you can say that. Now is the thing that you have you know what you need to do. Just that you have to refine it
with the help of brainstorming, and then you have to make it in finally in a form of an application. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So brainstorming is a method of ideation which helps us in ideating on different problem, like different solutions for a given problem statement that we have found. So the initial point of starting this brainstorming would be the opportunity areas that we have found out in the customer journey map, and that will be amplifying in the whatever possibility it can be in those opportunity areas, and we'll be finding the solutions, like we will be shortlisting the solutions which can be a potential solution to whatever we have thought is like whatever we have thought of making, right? So it is a collective process that is done. So let's say to perform a brainstorming exercise, let's say we dedicate 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or maybe that depends on how much time we want to dedicate. So whenever we do brainstorming, we don't judge any solution. Whatever solution comes to mind, just write it down. It can be a potential solution, but that is a later thing to decide. Now, what you do is you decide on what are the ideas that is coming up to you, right? You begin with target problem or brief, that is opportunity areas, that is the prompt, and that you will be starting with. Refrain from judgment. You don't judge your solutions that you are thinking. Just putting it is important. Encourage weird and wacky ideas. Like encourage like all the kind of ideas which can be like it can be funny as well. Like no one knows what can work. So it is important to put all the ideas that you're thinking on. Build on others ideas. Like suppose if you have liked the idea that someone has written and you can improvise it more, then you are free to do that as well. Stay visual, put that in the form of sticky notes, and like you can discuss and then you can make it a brainstorming activity, right? So now we'll be performing brainstorming activity, but before that, I want you all to just take half an hour break. Like right now it is 11:45, so we'll meet by 12:15. We'll meet back by 12:15, and then we'll be continuing from there.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so like it is almost 1 hour 45 minutes that has gone into. So take half an hour break. Then after coming back, we'll be doing the brainstorming activity. We'll be finalizing the functionalities. We'll be creating the task flow and information architecture, and we'll be starting with the wireframing. Cool.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Hello, is everyone back? Also, guys, start putting your work on the Miro that I've shared. Like I am not seeing any work that I can see. In case you are using a different Miro board, then share the link to me. Otherwise,
Okay, sir.
yeah, because I'm not able to see any of your works. Otherwise, you can put on Miro board itself. Like there is sufficient space for all of you to like just put content on Miro board, so that I can have a look and you can just discuss. Not a big issue. You all have access to the Discord link that is there. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm resharing it again, like in case some of you don't have that. I'm resharing it again. So you can just join it, and if in case you need any help or anything like that, you can just ask me. Because like it has been 2 weeks and I've got nothing to see. That is not good. So let's start. So let us all come to Miro board. I'm just sharing my screen again. Let us all come to Miro board and we'll start with the brainstorming now. Are you all able to look at my cursor where I am right now? Yes? No?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now what we are going to do in brainstorming is we have already got a few prompts in customer journey map. So you can complete it later on. Like rest of the customer journey mapping you can do. And based on that, you can amplify the brainstorming as well. So what we are going to do in brainstorming is, uh, so we have got the prompt. So now we will be ideating solutions for this particular case. What can be different solutions? And you can just put sticky notes for that. Just a second. Refreshing it again. Yeah. So we have got the prompt key. What direction we should be thinking our solutions in. So what needs to be done is you can just pick out the sticky notes like this, and you can put out all the possible solution that you can think of, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of you can just utilize this. Like right now, it's 12:18, so we'll be doing this till 12:30. So the brainstorming, what is the target that you are trying to do with the brainstorming is,
let's see, like if we are able to improve the solution that we have ideated on in the customer journey map, the opportunity areas, and any new solution that is associated that you can think of. So all the sticky notes which are there, like all open to you. Like if you want to like write some new solution that you can write. Yes.
So we will have to propose some solutions for the problems which we have
Yeah,
noted
yeah.
down
What?
earlier.
Yes. What functionalities you want to like based on this scenarios with based on these prompts? What are the type of functionality that you want to ideate for your application? That is there. What you can ideate. This is what you have to do in brainstorming. It can be any kind of idea. Like just ideas are welcome. Like and don't like not any judgment based on that, and then welcoming all kind of ideas. Yes, like how you have written smart device availability. So uh, uh, it can be like features can be to link normal phone to some smart phone present in the in family members so that they could connect and they could like suppose if the women have keypad phones only, they don't have access to smartphones, so how they can connect or how they can see like how they can access the smart devices if someone has some smart devices in the family. It is just idea, so you can come up with as many ideas as possible. So please utilize the sticky notes, and by 12:30 we'll be finishing this brainstorming, and as many ideas you can put as many ideas as possible based on these prompts, so that once we reach by 12:30 we'll be summarizing what we need to do next. Yeah.
Aditya, I have one question.
Yes.
We have started with nutrition problem with to find out what is the issue with the people those who are nutrition deficient.
Mm-hmm.
So we have not concluded like what was actually a problem. Are we saying that people not able to go to market and just for the nutrition product?
So Kiran, like we have done the research, like whatever we are concluding here is the outcome of the research. Like we have to refine the research that we have done. Like in case that is not coming, like that is the thing that you are seeing, the thing that you are saying, we are not moving towards the nutrition part. That is there.
Okay.
Right. But just have a look at the insight that we have worked on. Like we have not got the insights. Like it was a collective insight that we have put all together. So we have not put insight according to that. Due
So
to
ideally goal it should be like something that the nutrition deficient is because of and this is how we can solve it, and then we should start
can be a particular direction. Can be a particular direction that you have defining that this is the reason. Like based on the insight that we have got, we have found out that this is the main reason why people are not eating nutrition food, and that is leading to the nutrition deficit in people. There can be many other directions. So like as you talk to many other people, so you'll get to know about different ideas, different prompts. Key. Yes, this is also one reason. This is also one reason. And once you put that all together, then your research will be more refined.
So
So
where we went wrong, I mean, basically, I want to know where I should get to know that these are the problem and this is what we should pick for the solution.
see, where we went wrong is the thing that like when you are not like when you do not come up with proper insights is where you go wrong. Actually, that might be related to the re-ideation of the questionnaires that we have asked in the interviews. Like maybe we have not included questionnaires which were very focused towards that domain, like nutrition specific questions, right? So since the question was towards more kind of food, we have ideated questions more towards like what is the reason why people are not getting nutrition. Like so, we have moved in the direction of food. We cannot say that is totally wrong, right? But that is a kind of
That I understand, Aditya. My question is like, in which phase we should able to tell that this was the cause? I mean, in persona or in affinity, at which stage we should be in that position to tell that this is the issue?
So, when you uh, do the affinity mapping, just after that you need to define that yes, this is what we have, this is what we have got. This is the conclusion of this research, and this is where the people are facing problem. This is where people are not facing the problem.
Okay,
So
so
that is the
at
place.
the persona level, we should be
Yeah.
taking that persona which are actually the cause
Yes, exactly.
for
So
which we need.
after affinity mapping, you should be able to define what you have got as a problem statement actually.
Okay, okay, great.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
like initially you start with the problem statement. Like initially start with a hypothesis. Like how a research starts. You start with the hypothesis that I think that this is correct, right? And then you do research and then you validate it whether it is correct or not.
you. Right, correct.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
you started with the problem statement, you started with the focus area, and then you did affinity, like you did user study, and then you find out insights of to form affinity mapping. Now that mapping should be sufficient to conclude that what you have find out in the research. So whether your hypothesis was correct or not. If that is correct, then you have done the research. If that is correct, your research is right. Or maybe if the hypothesis that you are finding that you're trying to prove does not have supporting insights, then you can reiterate on the research a little more. You can take time and you can refine it more to find whether that is actually the right thing or not, and
Okay,
then you can move with the rest of the things after that.
okay, fine. Is
Yeah,
I'm just asking one wild question.
yeah, yeah.
Is there a way where we can evaluate our hypothesis right now where we are?
Yeah, we have to validate. We definitely can validate our hypothesis that where we are, like the type of solution that we are ideating, and so we can just go back and we can just go back to the problem statement that we have started with, and see if these solution fit in that space or not. Like after like whatever you have got in the like as a conclusion in the affinity mapping, you can just validate the solution whether it is fitting to that or not. If it is not fitting, then the process is iterative, right? So once you complete the process, then you can again go back and refine it till you find the correct process. This design thinking is iterative process. So let's say if it has been validated well, right? Then you are moving in the right direction. In case it is not getting validated, then also the things that you have got from the research is not completely wrong. You can still use maximum insight from that maximum solutions or insight from that research, and but you can little you can iterate a little more, and then you can define the solutions.
Okay, I just got you.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, please everyone, please you utilize the sticky notes, and then like just brainstorm with the solution, possible solution that we can have. Like I can not see any things written over there.
like whenever you are writing the solutions, you try to refine whatever we have got early. Like now is the refinement time. Like now is the refinement time. Like what is actually needs to be done, right? So what can be the possible feature? So now you are writing the solution. So try to refine what you have thought of.
What was the lady name which we put in persona?
Sorry.
What was the lady name which we have put on persona?
Can you come again? Like,
What was the lady name in persona which we have put?
Malti.
Malti.
Uh, Done. To link, we can provide content software app or local language. You can take charts and graph prices of different. Nutrition app install which tests on daily basis how much nutrition is required for each members. Based on apps which I can one order food from same app so that it will be delivered in same day. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah. Now see what we have to do. So see what we have to do next after this. So now that we have ideated on solutions, what are the possible solutions? So now we have to filter it out. What are the solutions that we are going to move ahead with, right? To move ahead with what solutions we are going to take it. So for that we perform card sorting. So what card sorting? So what are the solution that will be there that will be working, and what solution will be which will be there which will not work, or which will work at the later point of time that we can help that we can find out with the help of card sorting, right? So cards are what we do in card sorting. There are different methods of card sorting, which is one is open card sorting and one is closed card sorting. So in card sorting, what we do is we define priorities of the solution that we have ideated. So priorities as in what solution the user wants first, and what solution user wants at some later point of time. That is the open card sorting. Like so we do this card sorting mostly with the participation of user or some random person who is not part of the design process, so that the sorting can be unbiased. So whatever solution you are ideating, so we have to do prioritizing these solutions, prioritizing the solutions. So when we prioritize the ideated solution, so we call that as card sorting. And what happens in card sorting? Card sorting is two different types. So closed card sorting, one is open card sorting and second is closed card sorting. So in open card sorting, I can pick everyone, and I can show them the solution that I've ideated, and then I can ask them ki, this is what the solution we have ideated. So you can arrange based on what you think that is more important and what is less important. You can arrange it like that. So that is called as open card sorting. Now coming to what is closed card sorting. Closed card sorting means
whenever you are doing card sorting based on very specific feature, let's say you are here, we can say that searching for any searching for price of any ingredients, so that is there. And if there are solution, that is like there are 6 7 different ideas or 6 7 different solutions which are related to only that thing. So we can ask users that in the searching of price, what do you think, what comes first in priority, what comes next in priority. This is the two type of card sorting which we can do. So right now we'll be doing open card sorting, where we will be prioritizing what are the ideas that are immediately required to the user, and what are the ideas that are not immediately required to the user. So once that is prioritized, so we can move ahead. We can move ahead with the task flow and the information architecture, and we can make that in a we can make that in a form of the wireframe, right? So before card sorting, I want to just like quickly go through let you through some of the things that has to be covered, because like if we cover that in the next session, then we will be reducing time. So next session we can start with the card sorting. Card sorting, all the activity thing that needs to be done: card sorting, user flow, information architecture, and wireframing. Let's briefly understand what are the things that are there. So after brainstorming, we come to the user flows, right? After brainstorming, we do card sorting, and then we come to user flows. So user flow is a term given to the map of the app design, like how the user will flow, how the user will go in the process. Like whenever you have created the different screens, what will be the starting points and what would be the ending points in the complete flow. Like suppose the user needs to accomplish some task, like he needs to book a cab, he needs to he needs to order something. So what should be the flow of those elements, and how that should be followed, right? So this will be the user flow of the application. And how do we create the user flow of that application? After finalizing the functionalities of the application that we are ideating, so after finalizing the functionalities, then we will be moving on to the user flows. Okay, how should the user start in the application, and how should the user end at some process, right? Now, like user flows are very basic things, like just creating the flow of the application. These are the very basic things which are there. You might be already aware of these things. What are the different elements of user flows? Like this works as literally like a flow chart, where there are conditions, there are steps, and you need to just make figure according to that only, right? And to help you with example, this is a kind of there's a kind of user flow that you can make. Like it can be some similar to that, something different, but the elements would be almost similar. Like there would be a starting point, like how you would be starting in the application, that starting with the login screen, home screen, or maybe onboarding process, whatever things are there. Once you reach to home screen, then what features would be available, right? What features would be available, how you would be accessing them in the application, and how you would be proceeding with that. That will have all the sense of uh, all sense would be there in the user flow, right? So you can have a look at this user flow, like how this has been created. And if you have any question, you can ask me.
Any tool for user flow, or we have to draw anything paper or?
No, there is no specific no specific rules for user flow. Just that conditions need to be displayed. Like if there is a condition that you should display that yes or no, like how it is displayed here. And uh,
there are two methods of user flow which needs to be there. Like one is hierarchy, one is hierarchy method, and second is lateral method. So hierarchy method is the obvious obvious thing that you would be doing, like top to bottom approach that you would be doing, right? See, like I'll be explaining you with this figure. Like you are starting from a point, then you are going down, then you are going down, then you are going down, and then further you are going down. So this is a hierarchy method of user flow that needs to be there. Right? Now coming on to the level method, like what should be the level method, like what information needs to be displayed at what level. Suppose that these are the four solutions that you have ideated, right? So this all needs to be displayed on the same level. So you, and in the user flow also, you will put it on the same level. You'll not put like somewhere above or somewhere down, but you will put at the same level so that it becomes obvious to you while designing the application. That is, these are the features that I need to put on the same level, maybe on the same screen or the same level, right? These are the only thing, hierarchy and the linear method, that you need to understand while creating user flows. Otherwise, no such tools are there. Apart from that, you just need to follow the flow, proper flow, and the condition conventions which you need to display in that user flow. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the very simple things. Like we have already covered the most critical things. We have already done with that. Like we are done with the research and the ideation. Like these are the just final prototyping, like towards the prototyping things that we are doing. We are already done with the heavy part. Now we'll be moving towards the visual part of the visual parts of the app design. How it is done. Right. Anything that you want to ask in this diagram that you are not getting. So this is a user flow diagram for a logistics company in Canada. So this is actually a real time, it's actually implemented user flow for an application. So it's a part of application, not a full user flow. It's a part of user flow that is there. I'm not naming the exact name of the company, but yeah, there's a logistic company in Canada. Their user flow is like that, where you can search of different types of vehicles based on the items, and then you can schedule like free pickup, free drop off, anything else which can be there.
Adit, can we? I mean, if you have any live case study which is there, like right from the requirement to affinity persona, anything which you can
Oh
say?
yeah. I totally forgot. I totally forgot to share that. Let me just share one just after the session. I'll be sharing you.
If you can share now, because we don't receive this immediately.
Yeah, are you there on the Discord? Are you all on there on the Discord server?
No link also. I don't have link.
Yeah, just stop and let's stop here and then first do that, because I think there is a gap, there's some gap from the team that is happening. I'm
Yes,
not liking that.
right.
Yeah, so there's so just see, I have shared a Discord link. So there is a channel, and there is a channel which is there. I have created especially for you people. So some people are already there, but they are not using that. Ram Kumar, Spandan is there. Ronak Niyati Jigyasa, Aishwarya, they all are there. So you can once you join this channel, I'll keep on posting things here only, because it's like one way. It gets posted very quickly, right? So use this channel as much as you can for connecting between you, or if you want to connect with me, that you also can do.
because I think that this is happening like it goes from multiple ways, and there might be a possibility that you are getting something or you are not getting something, right? So that
Yes,
is there.
that's
Yeah. So soon after this session ends, I will be just posting the content on uh, in that thing in that Discord link, and you can just read it. All the content that I get, I just post it there. Okay, so that you don't have to go from multiple sources. You can just directly have a look at what is going on.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm there now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just see if you are able to access that channel. Like,
Yes, I'm able to access now.
okay, okay, nice. So here I'll be like, see, I have already put this link to the sessions. So then after the team said, "Ki, no, you need to put like you need to send through me." So I said, okay. So I already shared with them. I'm not sure if you have got like,
So I'm just in the same Discord. I'm just asking you for to share some case studies.
yeah, 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 sure, sure. Soon after the session, I'll be just posting it there. Okay.
Fine.
Yeah. So any questions on this task flow or anything like that? We'll be covering like we'll be definitely doing the task flow thing in the next session because of the lack of time we are having. So we might not be able to cover the whole of it, but yes, definitely we'll be covering that. And after you create the task flow, now comes the now comes the part of the information architecture. So all the information that needs to be placed on different screens of the application that you
Ali,
need to do.
I've sent a message, but it's saying failed to load
Um,
in Discord.
what it is saying?
Sorry,
What it is saying?
uh, it's saying message failed to load. Try again.
Mm, what is your username?
Uh, TK text to TK.
Uh, can you write down on the chat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I'm in accessing web because of that. Probably in app.
Maybe it can get fixed. Like just this one, right?
Correct.
Now see if you are able to send messages. Now you're typing.
Still it says failed.
Mm, yeah. Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now. Yes. Now I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be sending you here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
No worries. No worries. So like now coming on to information architecture, what is information architecture? Now you have created after you have created the user flow. Now comes the time to create the information architecture of the application. Like once after creating the flow, what is done? So you amplify the user flow. Like it is information architecture is just like the user flow with addition to the information that will go inside each and every screen. Like let's say you have written in the user flow you have written key, like I will go on the home screen, I will go on the login, I will go on the login screen, then I'll go to onboarding, or I'll go to the sign up, and then home screen. So these are the basic things that you have said ki, yes, this will be the flow that user will be going through, right? But you have not defined the information which will be going there. So in information architecture, you do the same thing. You amplify that user flow and you put all the type of information which will be there in that particular screen. Like in login screen, what information would be there, what features would be there. In home screen, what features would be there. Like let's say there are 4 different features that is available on the home screen. So how it will be there, how it would be placed, what information would be there. So when you just add this information into the user flow,
That is called as information architecture, right? And information architecture is helpful in creating the navigation and content of the application, whatever application it is. Maybe it is a web application or a mobile application. It is helpful in doing both of it, right? So this is a kind of information architecture. See, just have a look at the flow of the diagram. You'll see after registration, user logs into the home screen. The green boxes which are there are all placed on the same level. See from the navigation model, it is saying that it is global. So global, like it is global. Also, it is placed on the same level. Maybe mostly here it is placed on the home screen. So in home screen and dashboard, what are the different features which are available? Location is available, search, trainer, book session, trainer list, event list, and wallet is available. So these are the information which is present in the screen, which is dashboard. Similarly, for my fitness screen, what is this? Workout tracking, fitness summary, improvement trips. These are the type of information which is present. Same goes for offer, activity, more, and notification. Got it? The idea is exactly same, to first create the user flow and then amplify it with the information that would be present in each and every screen. And once that is done, that is will be called as information architecture of your application. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So after you have created the information architecture, so you need to, this is a concept and that you need to understand. So what is large framework of information architecture? So large framework of information architecture says that whatever information is present in the whatever information it is present in any form, that can be only organized in the form of 5 categories, which is location, alphabet, time, category, and hierarchy. No other hierarchy, like no other method is there in which the time, the information can be classified. So even if you randomly organize the information, you would end up being organizing in some one of it, or maybe a combination of 2 or more. So this is called the large model. L is for location, E is for alphabet, T is for time, C is for category, and H is for hierarchy. Right. So location based information classification can be giving example of location based information classification. You can take example of Uber or all the commuting application which are there. So information in that is arranged based on the location. Alphabetical information classification you would mostly find in archives. There can be more application, definitely. You can think of alphabetical classification is mostly found in archives, where you have to search with the letters like A, B, C, and D. Time based information classification is any example that you can think of time based information classification. Yes. Any idea about that? Yes.
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Yeah, I'm asking any example that you have for time-based information classification. Like any piece of information that is arranged based on time.
Yeah, I mean quarter wise, month wise, week wise.
Any kind, it can be minutes, seconds, or anything. Like time is there.
Yes.
Feeds, like Instagram feeds, Facebook feeds.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the example of time-based information classification. Like it shows you the latest information first, and then after that, it goes for the more later. Like Now coming on to category-based information classification, you will find mostly these on the info like e-commerce websites. The category-based information classification like men's section, women's section, kids section, accessories, electronics. These are the category-based information classification. And last but not the least is hierarchy-based. Hierarchy-based information classification is uh, where you have to apply levels, where you have to apply levels or the access levels of the information, like especially in like some software, some subscription models. I've seen some subscription model like this is a like this is a basic plan, then this is a and there's a medium plan, then this is the advanced plan. So you get to access different information in those different plans.
Correct.
Yes.
Data
So in
driven.
basic, yes.
Data driven, right?
Yeah, data driven, like where you have to like organize the information based on the hierarchy, the access levels. So those are example of hierarchy based information classification, right? So this is just a concept of like how the information can be classified, and like whenever you are given to classify an information for the UI design, yes.
This latch framework, when and where we are using?
Yes. So I'll tell you when you are suppose that let's say you have got information, a chunk of information after research that this is the information that I've got, and now I need to classify that what information I would be keeping and in what way. So there you will be applying this thing. Like it can be a single thing, like location based or alphabet based, or a combination of it, like time or location based, time and hierarchy based, same thing, right? Like let's say, for example, uh, for for logs which are created in the system. Yes, logs which are created in the system that are time and hierarchy based. Like you record the time and you record the access level at which it was created, right? Let's say I am in a basic plan, so my log will be created like, according to that, right? Access level. So that is an example. Or else, like in more practical or a more like explorative way, if I have to say, let's say you have got a research paper, like you have got a research data like plant recently I worked on a project which was based on terrace farming. So it was the information that only information that I got was a research paper that I got to work on, nothing else. So there it was written that what are the different conditions of growing plants, what are the different sizes and different factors which affect the growth of plants, and what are the requirements that are needed for different kinds of plants which are there. So now, then there is a requirement for classifying that information. Like now, if you say that like first you will identify that what kind of plant is that. Is it a fruit plant? It's a vegetable plant. It's just a decorative plant or some flower kind of plants, right? So that is a kind of category that you have used for classification, right? Now, in that, what further classification you can do? You can do classification based on that. Now that this is a flower, let's say now that this is a fruit plant that I've got. So I'll divide key at what time of year this fruit comes, like maybe January to February, March to April, July to August, or July to September, right? So when I do this classification, so it becomes easy for me to display this information on the application, right, and on the UI.
So this we are using during information architecture.
Yeah, mostly you use it in information architecture, like what needs to be let's say like you're creating a plan for, like, let's say you're creating a plan for Malti Devi. So you would be taking functionalities which are based on time, no? You are taking the function, like the solution which you have ideated, which are based mostly on time, and then you would be categorizing it in the plan thing, right? You would be categorizing it based on these five factors. Like what is the time based functionality that I have ideated? What is the category based or hierarchy based? This is how you will implement, no? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how you like you use information classification for different things, and how the latch framework is implemented. Um, let me see. Okay. So do guys have 15 more minutes to spend? If that is okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just
I'm
cover, like, I'll quickly cover the wireframing and types of wireframings. And once we meet back on the next session, so we'll be moving ahead with the, like, totally, like, hands-on thing. We might need to take an extra 1.5 hour session at some day to complete this whole thing, because like it is important to, like, discuss things also rather than just, like, telling how it is done, because discussion is, I think that discussion is more important when it comes to practical things, so that you could get a clear idea of everything and then you start making on it, right? So if we have to take some time extra, so that should be okay, right?
Yeah. Which tool we will be using for wireframing?
Mostly I use Figma and XD both, but here we'll be using Adobe XD because of the interaction that we are going to, like, learn. The
Yeah.
advanced prototyping or the component states that we are going to learn, for that we'll be using Adobe XD, because that is not possible in Figma.
Yeah. And Adit, one question not related to, I mean, what you're teaching.
Mhm.
We have seen so many phases, right from requirement questioning, affinity, persona, user story, and everything. So, in profit, I mean, in real time, how much time you get to do all this, and whether this has to be done by one single person, or it is been split, like affinity done does someone else, persona someone else. How it actually work in real world?
So so definitely it is not done by a single person, because it has multiple domain. UI UX design only, like, we consider that as, like, most of the industry considers that as a singular role, but it is actually a very vast role. You cannot be UI UX designer at the same time. You can never be.
Yeah.
You can only be either UX designer or a UI designer.
Yeah. So as a fresher, I think they must be more towards tool, right? And whatever we have discussed, probably this might be taking up by senior UI UX guys.
So what happens in the industry that, like, the research part is mostly taken by the UX researchers. There are UX researchers who only perform the research work. Like, they do everything till the ideation and the card sorting part. They do all the information,
Okay.
right?
So you mean to let me reconfirm. So you said till card, this is being done by research.
Yeah, the research part is done by UX researchers, and then it is taken by, like, they do till wireframing, and then they hand it over to UI designers for the final style guide creation and the visual part.
So
And then
basically, wireframing is the main thing where fresher start involving, right? So what will be the input for wireframing? What they give?
so
Information architecture or everything?
the information architecture and user flow will be the would be the requirement for wireframing.
But actually practically how what they get input, because this we know that this is the best practice, but a lot of company, they some company follow, some not, like Google and all that they must be following, but startup and all, they, I don't know, I mean, they follow the entire process. So usually what the input they get for wireframing?
Hmm. So whenever you will be doing wireframing, so the input that you will be getting is site like user flow and information architecture would be there. Like without it, you cannot do wireframing because you are not sure of what how do you represent that thing, right? So that is the starting point, and along with that, you follow the UI design guideline, which is there with the Apple, or material design guideline, which is put forward by Google. So you according to that you work, and then you use information architecture and those things, and then there you put your creativity that how I need to arrange those things according to the UX laws. We'll be covering some UX laws as well in the session, according to which we keep in mind that how the content should be placed on the screen.
You said UX laws.
Yeah, UX laws. There
Okay.
are different UX laws. So there are major seven UX laws we'll be looking at, and we'll be looking how the things needs to be considered while creating the layouts of the wireframe.
And usually, how much time they give to complete wireframe? Let's say if somebody is given login page,
Hmm.
so how much on an average they get time?
It is very contextual, like that depends on the skill of people, and also the timeline that is set for the project. Let's say you have got 1 month to complete all the projects, so definitely you will get one week time to complete all the wireframing and the visual design. So it might happen in 1 day only, it might happen in 1 week. So that depends on like how the requirements is like shaping up with the client. It is more towards that.
Okay. And who take final call on whether your wireframe is right, or I mean good to go? It's a lead or
Hmm.
product manager. Who takes that?
UX lead would be there, would be taking the final decision on the what is the final wireframe that we'd be going forward with. And like they sit together, like the lead and the product manager, they both sit together and see what is working and what is not. Like it is not a decision of a single person. So UX lead will sit with you and your product manager, and then they will discuss some things. They will suggest some changes, and then you have to make those changes, and then again the final thing comes up. And once that is finalized, then there is no further UX that is done. Then it goes finally to the UI person, and then they create style guide. If there is already a style guide that is existing on the place, they use it and then make the prototype.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks for giving insights, practical
No
insights.
worries, no worries. So coming on to wireframing, what wireframing is. So in a very layman language, wireframing is the structure of the app that is created. So this wireframing is the structural level of the design that is created based on the information architecture and the user flow that we have decided. And once and how that is created, this is created based on some UI guidelines. In some cases, like there are multiple types of wireframing which needs to be done. So you might use UI guidelines, you will be definitely using UX laws which will govern how the layouts will be there, and how the functionality, how you can achieve the best functionality of the solution that you have ideated on. So this will be accommodated in the wireframing whenever you will be doing,
So
right?
these standard guidelines are based on the domain company.
The guidelines, so iOS and material guidelines will be there. No company would run away from that. Apart from that, there would be some standard guidelines that is inside the company that they need to follow regarding some of the layouts and things. So that is there. But all of it fall under the iOS and material. They are like just little deviated, little just modified version of those guidelines. Nothing very like different.
Okay.
So how wireframes are used? So wireframes are used in the early development process to establish a basic structure of a page before visual design and content is added. It is just to ideate how the content would be placed, how the things would be placed, how the features and functionality would be created on the said application. And then you proceed, once that is finalized and that is tested, then you proceed ahead with the UI design, right? So what is the purpose of wireframing? Wireframing
wireframings keep the content concept user focused. So since this is a very low level, low detail version of the application design, so it helps us in focusing on what is the important thing that needs to be go on the screen, and how that should be placed. It provides a clarification and define the website features, like what are the clear features and functionalities of the website or application. And the most important thing, that is very quick and cheap to create. You can even create wireframes just on pen and paper. That will be easy to do, and you can iterate as much as you can. That's the cheapest method to do wireframing. And based on that, there are different methods of wireframing. Some of them are non-digital methods, and some of them are digital methods. So we'll be covering digital methods. We'll be covering here digital methods. You can choose to do the non-digital methods as well for quick ideation. So we'll be using Adobe XD for the digital methods. And in case you just want to quickly iterate on what should be the basic design of the screen, you can just use pen and paper method of doing wireframing. Right? So these are the non-digital and digital methods. Now coming to what are the different types of wireframings, there are three major types of wireframing, which is low fidelity, mid fidelity, and high fidelity. So low fidelity wireframing is a very basic structure, like how the things would be placed in a very basic design of the screen. That can be a pen and paper, like how it is shown in the figure, right? And here you do not consider the pixel perfect design. They just need to be they are just used to ideate on what things will go at what place. This is just a basic layout of how the flow should be there, right? This is called as low fidelity wireframes, and you can also create a pen and paper based wireframes, which will be called as low fidelity wireframes. That these are very easy to create. Like you can just create like it in 2 minutes or 3 minutes to understand how it working or not. Now, after this, we come to mid-fidelity wireframes. So mid-fidelity wireframes are more structural and create and include a little more detail as compared to low-fidelity wireframing. In low-fidelity wireframing, you are not concerned of the details. Here, you consider details also, and a little more structured way, so that you could understand how the actual structure would come up with the of the application. But still the typography or the images are like omitted here, so that no confusion is created. Just the basic structures, basic structure. So placeholders are used in the place of images, and dummy text is used in place of like text, and no like real content is like placed here, just to find out is the content, like is the layout of the content is working or not. So these are called mid-fidelity wireframes. You can go with the pixel perfect, like you can choose to do the pixel perfect designing at this stage, right? And after that comes the high fidelity wireframes, which have the maximum level of detail. It can contain the actual typography, it can contain actual images and actual content as well, right? So these are the three levels of the high like wireframing methods: low, mid, and high fidelity wireframings. And what are the level of detail that they have, right? And yeah, so we'll be stopping here. So we'll be knowing about the laws of interaction, like laws of UX. Apart from the activities on card sorting, task flow, information architecture, and wireframing. So we'll be looking at what are the UX laws, and we'll be applying these UX laws practically along with the wireframing that we'll be doing in the next session. Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, that is it from my side for today's session.
I just one more question.
Yes.
We also have prototypes. So how this wireframing is different than prototype?
Wireframings are not functional designs. Prototypes are functional.
When you say functional, means like clickable, You
Yes,
can
yes.
perform like mail should come, login should happen.
Yes, yes. If you click certain button, then what would happen? If you click certain button, then what would happen?
Okay.
If you like include interactions along with the if you include interactions along with the mockup, like high fidelity wireframing, then it would become prototype.
Prototype. Okay,
Hmm.
that's the difference. So same, I mean, same principle, same law,
Yes, yes,
everything
yes,
same.
yes.
Okay, okay, fine. Got you. Thanks. Thank you so much.
No worries, no worries. Any more questions from anyone?
I have, but we'll ask you later.
Okay, sure.
I have question towards coding, like
Okay,
you.
okay. Yeah, that we can cover in the next session.
Yes.
Yes, anyone else? Do you want to ask any questions?
No, sir.
No? Okay, then, like for the assignment for today, like I'll just show you some, like I'll share your assignment. So today we have like you have to like for this week the assignment would be to complete the wire to complete the customer journey maps, user story customer journey maps, and the brainstorming, and read about like and just have an idea about the user flow and the information architecture. And if you want to explore wireframing, that is up to you. So the major deliverables will be the customer journey map and the brainstorm. Okay. And please, all of you, please just start putting the content on the Miro board so that I can also have a look on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay then. Like that's all from my side.
Yeah. If moderator is here, please share the last week recording and this week.
I think no moderators are here.
Okay.
Yes, yes, Spandan. Like and like in next session would be like definitely dedicated to the micro interactions and use of UI as well. Yeah,
Thanks, Adit. Thanks, everybody.
no worries, no worries. Okay, I'll be taking a leave now. Have a good day.
Yeah. Have a nice Sunday.
Thanks.
Thank you.